I think it was Donald Miller who he said a quote. I heard this several years ago, and he said, "We're all just a few big mistakes away from becoming a master of our craft." Now, I like that quote, but I think I would improve on it just a little bit. I think we're all a few big mistakes away from mastery if we learn from our mistakes. Hey there, welcome back to the show. Listen, if you've got a burning question that you would like to get answered here on the podcast, go to nathanlittletonfirm.com/podcast and we'll try to get it answered for you. Right, so today's question is a good one. I'm excited about this lesson. So here's the question. What is one piece of advice that I would give my younger self? I like this question because when I take a look at the person I am today compared to the person I was just a few years ago, like there's just such a massive gap. There's just such a difference. It's really mind-blowing to me. And so as I begin to think about this question, like how I would respond to this, I really think that I think I nailed it down. I think I know what I would say. And if I boiled it all down to one thing, it would be this. I would look myself straight in the eye and I would say, Nathan, you don't know what you don't know. Become a learner. You've got to learn how to learn. Because the truth is, learning is the key to everything in life. Like, learning is the key to making more money. Like, if you want to get in better shape, learn. You want better relationships, learn. I mean, learning is the key to wealth, health, and happiness. Like, learning is the key to freedom. Learning is the key to success in life. It's like every path forward starts with learning. Even your faith, like your relationship with God, starts with learning. You got to learn about God. You got to learn how to communicate with God, how to talk to God, how to hear God talk to you, how to get closer to God. Like it starts with learning. So here's this thing. I want to bring this down to you here in just a couple minutes. I want to give you two main sources of wisdom, two things that you've got to adopt in your life to move forward. So here's the first one. The first place to learn is you've got to learn from yourself. I think it was Donald Miller who he said a quote. I heard this several years ago, and he said, "We're all just a few big mistakes away from becoming a master of our craft." Now, I like that quote, but I think I would improve on it just a little bit. I think we're all a few big mistakes away from mastery if we learn from our mistakes. Like I've seen so many people do the same dumb things over and over, year after year. Like that's the literal definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Like, you ever seen that person who was in the same toxic relationship 5 times? It's like they keep repeating it over and over and over, and they wonder what's happening, what went wrong. Right? That is the exact opposite of learning from your mistakes. I think that's probably the greatest separator in my life. Like, it's not that I didn't make a lot of mistakes, because Lord knows I did, but I just wanted to learn from them. I was just able to look at them and say, hey, I don't want to do that again. Right? Because I'm telling you, my mistakes has been the greatest teacher in my life. But here's the deal. How do you do that? Well, when you mess up, dissect it. Like, treat that mistake like a crime scene investigation. Like, look at all the evidence. Get to the root of why things went sideways. What was I thinking? Was I stressed? Was I tired? Was I emotional? Was I influenced by some other thing, some outward source, some other person? Like, what was my mindset? What was my mentality at that moment? Like, what caused me to make this mistake? And when you do that, you're able to recognize the pattern. Like you'll begin to see, hey, every time I do this and I screw this up, I felt this way, or I talked to that person, or I was thinking with this mindset. Like you begin to learn how to turn those mistakes into a win because you learned from it. Now, flip that and also apply it to your successes in life. The things you do right, the things you win at. Don't just celebrate your wins. Yeah, celebrate them, but also dissect them as well. What did I do right when I made this choice? You understand? And as you begin to go through that process, you're going to begin to elevate your knowledge, your experience, and you're going to become such a smarter and a wiser person. Now, the second place to learn is to learn from others. Because why would you want to make every mistake personally, right? You don't have time to make every mistake personally. Like you can spend 10 years doing it the hard way, or you could just learn from somebody else and move forward 10 times faster, right? So here's how you do that. All right, so I'll give you 3 things, 3 ways to learn from others. The first one is reading books. I know there's a lot of people that don't like to read, and it kind of just blows my mind because reading really, man, it's like you get to sit down with a billionaire or a world-class athlete or some spiritual giant, and they just pour their wisdom, their knowledge, their experience into you for $15. Like, you can't beat that deal. I think it's Dave Ramsey that says that leaders are readers. It's like if you want to go somewhere in life, you want to accomplish something in your life, become a reader. Bring that wisdom, pour that knowledge into your life. Now, another one is podcast. Like, there are millions of free podcasts out there. Like, if you want to learn something, there's probably an episode of a podcast somewhere about that subject. Why would anybody not take advantage of that? Like, we live in the day and age where we have access with our fingertips to just all knowledge. Like, it's so easily accessible. There's no excuses. There's no excuses to not know. Go out there and learn. Now, the last was this, just good old conversations. Like, find somebody who's walked the road that you're walking and talk to them. Ask them about their mistakes. Ask them about the bumps in the road. Ask them about the detours they took. Right? Just learn from them. And when you do this, you will begin to grow. You're going to begin to change. You're going to begin to find greatness in your life. Now look, I know all knowledge out there is not good. All conversations out there is not great. Like you've got to learn how to filter those things without a doubt. But you can do that. You have the ability to do that. Right? You're smart. So filter it, obviously, but still bring in that information, learn, grow, right? Whatever it is that you're facing, learn and overcome. So if I was going to look at that person, I was going to say, Nathan, start learning and never stop. Because learning is not just about knowledge. It's about transformation. Become a learner. All right, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll catch you in the next one.